Once upon a time, in a village nestled between a river and a mountain, life was as predictable as the sunrise. The villagers had their routines, their traditions, and their dreams. The mighty river that had once been their lifeline was now a raging torrent, separating them from the outside world. Fear turned to despair as the days turned into weeks, and the villagers' hope began to dwindle. They were cut off from receiving any supplies, and their food started to run low. With each passing day, their resolve weakened. It was more than they had ever hoped for. With renewed determination, they raced back to the village to share their discovery with the others. But one day, everything changed. It was a rescue party sent from the neighboring town who had heard tales of their plight and come to help. Together they formed a plan. The strongest men would go out hunting to gather food for everyone. They had not only rebuilt their connection to the outside world, but also their hope for the future. The flood had taken much from them, but it had also shown them the strength of unity and the power of the human spirit. As they prepared to leave their makeshift camp and return to their homes, they knew they were not just survivors. They were a community bound together by their struggles and their triumphs. They were the people of the village by the river, and they had found a way when the world stopped. The women would take care of the children and the elderly, and everyone else would help in repairing the bridge. A giant storm swept through the valley, causing a flood that washed away the village's fields, its roads and its bridges, leaving the villagers stranded and hopeless. Their search led them deep into the heart of the forest, where they faced wild animals, harsh weather, and their own exhaustion. But they pressed on, driven by the promise of a better life. But amidst the despair, a young girl named Elara refused to give up. She remembered a tale her grandmother had told her about a legendary bridge that once connected their village to the outside world. If they could find the remnants of this old bridge and repair it, they might have a chance to be saved. Though the others thought it was just a fairy tale, Elara was determined to prove them wrong. She set out on a journey to find the remains of the bridge, accompanied by a young man named Kiran, who had lost his family in the flood and was as desperate as Elara was hopeful. Finally, after days of searching, they found it, the remnants of an old stone bridge hidden beneath a tangle of vines and fallen trees. At first, the villagers were skeptical, but Elara's infectious enthusiasm and Kiran's practical suggestions slowly won them over. It was hard, back-breaking work, but as the first rays of sunlight peeked through the canopy, they looked up to see a hot air balloon in the sky. When the last piece of the bridge was set in place, the villagers erupted in cheers.